Jonathan Vigliotti joins us now. All right, we heard Captain Monica Rochester there say 34 people still unaccounted for, but it was interesting. She said 5 people were rescued. It appears that was just the crew. What else did she say about this rescue operation?
Yeah, and she went into a little bit more detail about how the crew escaped. She said that they were all awake, and when we talked before, this is what we were hearing from a number of people who were very close to this investigation, saying they were awake getting ready for breakfast when this fire happened. They called, they put in a mayday call saying that there was a fire engulfing the boat. They were all able to jump off to safety. They were actually rescued by Good Samaritans on another boat called, ironically enough, the Grape Escape. As far as the 34 people that are unaccounted for, the U.S. Coast Guard saying right now that this is still very much an active response effort, a search and rescue for them. They were in fact asleep below deck, all 34 of them passengers, when this fire did engulf this boat. We know that the boat has in fact sunk. Only part of it is still sticking out of the water a little bit, but there is this hope that some of those victims, if not all of them, are somewhere in the water. Of course, when we mentioned this earlier, as the search and rescue continues, the reason this isn't so easy is because of the fog that is here right now. This is about 30 miles off the coast where we are, all unfolding. Helicopters, Coast Guard, Fire Department, and other Good Samaritan vessels trying to navigate through these very difficult conditions, poor visibility, trying to find any survivors. Again, though, that search and rescue effort for those 34 people still unaccounted for, very much underway at this hour.
But Jonathan, as you know, we are now, 6 hours into this rescue operation, and they said that the call came in. It was a mayday call, and the boat was already engulfed in flames when that call came in. This does not look good.
It doesn't look good, but when you talk to these rescuers here, you could tell they remain hopeful. And time again, when I've covered stories like this, you'd be so amazed at how people can hold on and can be found hours, even days after a tragedy like this unfolded. But you put it very well. These people were in the bottom of this boat when this fire did start. You can imagine the smoke that would have filled that area, the flames too, the low visibility. It was nighttime. So certainly that is a concern. And it's one that we've seen family members coming here trying to figure out if their loved ones were on board, the status of their loved ones. We spoke with one gentleman who, luckily enough, it was his brother on board, but his brother was the cook and got off, was one of the 5 people that escaped safely. So you can imagine hope certainly diminishes with each passing hour with no new word. But the rescuers here saying they are very much continuing this rescue effort until we hear otherwise.
Jonathan Vigliotti, thank you.
You have to understand, this is probably the worst case scenario you could possibly have. You have a vessel that's on the open sea that is in the middle of the night. I mean, at 3:30 in the morning. Fire is the scourge of any ship, and the vessel, if not everybody, most everybody was asleep at this time. The majority of the people were the passengers on the ship, and the sleeping compartment was on the bottom deck of the ship, so they would have been sound asleep when this fire started. So you can imagine that of all scenarios, to be in a remote location, have a fire that occurs, have limited, if any, firefighting capabilities that could address that, and then to have all of a sudden a fire that spread very, very rapidly, you couldn't ask